Welcome to my channel. It's committed to helping more people create freedom in their life through success in tech sales and the pursuit of personal development. Today we're going to talk about how to know if tech sales is the right career path for you. Maybe you're a recent college graduate who's trying to figure out what you want to do with your life, or you're in a dead-end career that you're just not happy with and you're looking for a new sense of direction. Today I'm going to illuminate 10 key factors or signals that indicate that tech sales might be a good career path for you. And I've acquired this knowledge through my experience over the years, working 7+ years at companies like Oracle, Google Cloud, and now a global startup. So before we dive into it, if you get value out of this video, make sure to give the like button a love tap because the YouTube algorithm loves that too, and will flash this video to more people who could benefit from the message. Make sure to subscribe for weekly tech sales and personal growth hacks that you can chew like snacks. And feel free to email me at chrisbussingchannel@gmail.com if you're serious about breaking into tech sales. I created a mentorship and coaching program designed to help you land a job in tech sales within the course of 1 to 3 months. And I also have other friends who have been very successful in tech sales that have their own programs to help you out, and happy to connect you with them too. At the least, it'll be great to have an exploratory conversation and create an open line of communication. So without further ado, let's dive into the first signal that tech sales might be the right career path for you. So the first way to know that tech sales is a good career path for you is if you're money motivated. I'm not saying you have to be extremely money motivated where that's all that matters to you in life, because that's not what should matter to you more than anything, but it helps because in tech sales, your effort and your hard work leads to you making more money, and that can be really rewarding and trigger a cycle of motivation if you are money motivated. When you see that commission check, which looks really nice, hit your bank account, it'll motivate you to want to close more deals and work harder, and it's just a virtuous cycle. Sales is one of the only careers where your level of effort can impact how much money you make, and where the money you make is a reflection of your contribution to your company and to your customers. And as I've said before in many past videos, tech sales is one of the fastest career paths to making 6 figures. You can make over 100K in your first year, or if anything, by your second year, as you get promoted from an SDR role to a closing role as an account executive. The question to ask yourself is, how are you going to use that excess capital to start your own side hustle that can eventually turn into a path of entrepreneurship? How are you going to use that money to go on great vacations and enjoy and see the world? How are you going to use that money to take care of your family? The key is that people who thrive in tech sales aren't just money motivated. At a deeper level, they're freedom motivated, because money is just a tool to create more freedom in your life. At least that's the way that I see it. And what's really funny and counterintuitive is a lot of the people in tech sales actually want to do more than just tech sales. They want to be entrepreneurs and authors and make a big difference. They're dreamers, and they're definitely not the type of people who are sitting home at their couch comfortable. They're not willing to sit there and play small in life. They want to play big. And they see tech sales as a vehicle to getting towards the freedom and the entrepreneurship and impact that they want to achieve in their life. The second way to know that tech sales is the right career path for you is if you are a self-starter, you're goal-oriented, and you're willing to hold yourself accountable for your results and face those results. Now that was a loaded point, so let's dig into the different components. First of all, you need to be a self-starter. You're not someone who's waiting around for someone to tell you what to do. You're willing to set a strategy and a vision for your sales territory and how you're going to prioritize your potential leads and execute on the strategy and have a bias for action. This is what we call a CEO mindset. You really take ownership for your territory, and that's why tech sales is a great training ground for future CEOs. You've got to be someone who's energized by goals and who can see them as meaningful challenges and opportunities and can gamify the process of getting there. Because there's a lot of crappy aspects of tech sales, like being rejected and making cold calls, and you need to be willing to keep your eyes on the prize and maintain a vision to push through. And the final component of this second factor that will tell you if tech sales is a good fit for you is being willing to hold yourself accountable and face the music around your outcomes. There have been times where I was falling behind on my numbers and I had to have a conversation with my manager and face the reality that I was falling behind. And in fact, in tech sales, a lot of people can see results. You can see everyone's results out there in public. And so you'll see if you're last on the team. And there was a time when I was last on my team when I started out in an SDR role out of college. And my manager told me, "How does it feel to be last?" And I got really pissed at first, but then I used that to motivate me and I rose to the top and became #1. And so that leads me to the third factor that will tell you that tech sales is a good fit for you. You have a growth mindset and you don't take things personal. In that case, when my manager told me I was last and asked me how it felt, I did take it a little personal, but ultimately I let it go and used it to motivate me to rise to the top. By the way, if you're a competitive person and a former athlete, you're going to do great in tech sales. Because when you see you're last, you're going to see it as a challenge and you're going to want to be #1, and that really helps motivate you and drive you to be successful. And having a growth mindset is so key in sales. What that means is you see failure and rejection as temporary setbacks and not as immovable obstacles. You're willing to push through knowing that failure is a learning opportunity. And in fact, true failure only happens when you don't try and you don't take action. And you know that rejection is just God's protection and it points you in a new direction. For example, if an opportunity doesn't work out with one customer, I know that my time has been freed up to pursue another opportunity where the customer is actually interested and we could find a win-win. If you have a healthy sense of self-esteem or you're someone who wants to develop a strong sense of self-worth and self-esteem, then sales is a great career path for you. This is because tech sales is going to demand that you separate your sense of self-worth from your performance and realize your value is intrinsic. It has nothing to do with how you perform. And in fact, when you see yourself as a 10 out of 10, your performance will rise to the level of those beliefs. Tech sales is a great opportunity to create mental and emotional freedom and to bulletproof your confidence and expand who you are as a person. The more failure and rejection you go through, the more bulletproof you become. The fourth way to know that tech sales is a good career path for you is if you're energized by people and love having conversations and connecting with new people. Now you're probably thinking I'm telling you you need to be extroverted. Yes, this helps a lot. I'm very extroverted. I love talking to strangers, but you can be highly successful if you're an introvert as well. And in fact, some of the introverts I know that are in sales are some of the best salespeople out there because of their ability to listen and be thoughtful. But of course, if you love people and talking to strangers, that's a great sign that you're going to love tech sales. As you move up the ranks, you're going to be hosting dinners with customers, hosting other fun events, getting coffees and lunches, and you're basically going to be talking to people all the time. The fifth way to know that tech sales is a good career path for you is if you're a good communicator, or at the least if you have a desire to become a good communicator. Tech sales is all about influencing and helping people understand how your solution can solve their problems. Oftentimes your solution is going to be very technical and complicated, so you're going to have to own the burden of responsibility of distilling how your solution can solve their problem in a very simple way. They say you want to be able to explain what you do and how you help in terms that grandma could understand. But that's a great skill to develop. And also in sales, you're going to learn to tell great stories and learn that that is one of the most impactful forms of communication. So if you're a great storyteller or enjoy telling stories, but also if you want to develop that skill, that's just as good a sign that this is a good career path for you. The sixth way to know that tech sales is a good career path for you is if you have a long-term mindset and you're willing to be patient and persistent. The reality is when you find a lead or connect with a customer, oftentimes it takes a long time to get the first meeting or close a deal. You've got to really nurture that lead and opportunity. And it usually takes a bunch of follow-ups and email outreach and phone calls and LinkedIn messages to get that first meeting. I had a $10 million deal that I closed that took me over 6 months to get the first meeting. It started with a cold call and then following up and then getting in contact with the right CTO and them having to reschedule many times. But I was persistent, I was patient, I nurtured the conversation and the lead, and it turned into $10 million. And I've got many other examples where I reached out to a customer for 9 months with no response, but finally, after 9 months, got a multi-six-figure deal. I had to tell myself that all those emails actually mattered. There was very little gratification for a long, long time, but eventually it all paid off. So if you can take on a long-term mindset, you're going to be very successful in tech sales. And for me, what I found is that if you push through the difficult aspects of the entry-level position, making cold calls and grinding and working on behalf of other account executives, eventually you'll move up and experience so much freedom and increased responsibility. People will be setting meetings for you. You'll be going out to dinners and hosting events and having a great time, putting it on the company dime. It's all worth it. So even being persistent and patient in the first role that you're in and having a long-term mindset will really benefit you if you can stick with the career path. After 10 or 15 years, if you get to the right role, you can make over $1 million a year. I know many people who are doing that themselves. The seventh factor to consider if you're evaluating a career path in tech sales is, are you a good problem solver? Or better said, are you good at helping teach customers how to solve their problems? I think that's an important distinction. As an engineer, you have a technical problem and you're trying to code and solve it. But in tech sales, you're teaching people how to solve their own problems. And you're teaching them how to think about the problem and how to align your solution to that resolution of their issue. So if you're motivated by challenges and problem solving, and especially teaching others about that, then this is a good career path for you. In fact, a lot of teachers actually do very well in tech sales. I've got a few friends who made that transition themselves. The eighth way to know that tech sales is a good career path for you is if you can thrive in ambiguous and changing situations. First of all, selling tech is like fog carving. What I mean by fog carving is in tech sales, you're selling a product that isn't a physical product. It's like fairy dust, this intangible solution that can be very complex. In fact, product lines are always changing in tech sales, so you need to be dynamic in understanding how products are being updated and how things are evolving. Also in tech sales, there's a chance that a business unit at the company you're working at or product line can be terminated. Maybe you need to find a new role in the company, or your role changes, or you need to find a role at another company. And if you're someone who can navigate all these dynamic changes, you will come out on top and ultimately continue to succeed in tech sales. Maybe it'll even enliven you. When I was at Google Cloud, I had a certain role and they eliminated the role after I was in it for a year, and it had nothing to do with my performance. I was very successful, but I ended up using it to get an even better role and a promotion. I saw it as an opportunity and I was able to dance with the chaos. If you can dance with the chaos, then hop on the tech sales wave, because it's going to be a fun ride. The ninth way to know that tech sales is a good career fit for you is if you can put yourself outside your comfort zone, if you have a bias for action and you're a risk taker. Living takes place outside of our comfort zone, and great tech sellers know that. They also know the common denominator of success. This is a famous piece of sales literature by Albert Ian Gray, which is that successful people make a habit of doing the uncomfortable things that failures aren't willing to do. They're willing to pick up the phone and make a call to a stranger who might reject them. They're willing to put in the prep work for an important discovery call, and they're willing to ask for help from other people to get things done. The greatest tech sellers never fall into the trap of analysis paralysis. They don't wait for 100% of the information or conditions to be perfect. They know action wins out, and action is what produces results. Back in my Oracle days, I had a mentor who told me, Chris, you need to live in awkward if you're going to be successful in sales. What does live in awkward mean? It means being willing to hold the silence in a negotiation or on a cold call, waiting for the customer to respond, building constructive tension to move things forward. That can be super awkward. But you've got to lean into that discomfort and hold the silence, because it can make all the difference to getting to the next step. We're being willing to ask the tough questions. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, you mentioned that you've got this challenge and you agreed that we could help solve it. Why haven't we moved forward at this point? That's uncomfortable, it's awkward, but you have to live in awkward to be successful in tech sales. So if you're willing to do that, again, hop on the wave and dive in. And the 10th and final way to know that tech sales is the right career for you and that you will be successful is if you're not worried about being the smartest person in the world, but you're focused instead on being curious. In fact, you recognize that when you think you know it all, you actually cut off your potential and you trap yourself in your own perspective and avoid putting yourself in the shoes of the customer. It's all about empathizing with the customer in tech sales and sales in general, and asking great questions and being curious to find solutions that meet the customer's needs. It's not about being a know-it-all. In fact, that's the fastest way to turning a customer off and limiting your potential in tech sales and in life. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I tried to put my heart and soul into it, and you got more clarity around how to know if tech sales is the right career path for you. So if you're out there and you are serious about the opportunity, you want to learn more, again, email me at chrisbussingchannel@gmail.com. I have a coaching program that could help get your foot in the door within 1 month to 3 months, and I have other people I can connect you with that can also help you in that journey. Happy to have a conversation. So let's connect. Of course, like the video so more people can see the video in case they would benefit from the message, and subscribe, of course, for more free content designed to help you break into tech sales and succeed. Happy selling and happy living.